Surprisingly, this place makes around $40,000 a year and cost only $15,000 to build. And this is only one of a pair of rental homes on the property. Combined, this one property has the ability to make well over $100,000 a year for the owner. That's right, this single property makes more than the commercial pilot flying your 747 on your next trip across America. But today, we're focusing on this little guy. This place is the cat's meow, the bee's knees. Sleek metal, cute interior, and for all intents and purposes, a very cozy, unique, tiny home. After all, it is an Airbnb Plus with very high reviews. But I paid precisely $207.80 for a night in a metal shed and didn't even end up staying the night because of what I found here. Stick around and I'll show you why travelers are racing back to hotels due to hosts using professional photos to deceive their guests. And as we go through this metal tiny home, I'll reveal the 4 banger amenities that elite properties use to drive insane returns for their owners. Starting with a quirky exterior and interior design, which this place ran with using flat stock sheet metal to cover the entire exterior surface. Naturally, this very different look grabs the audience's attention, causing them to click and book the place. This is the same with the interior design choices, such as this listing right here, quirky and different cells. You combine this with the next 3 and you'll be well on your way to replacing your day job income with just one property. But seriously, how the heck does this thing only cost $15,000 but makes more than double that amount every single year? The construction here is actually really basic and simple. It's literally a rectangular box. Well, a very snazzy, well-dressed box. We just need to take a few measurements and we can easily estimate the cost to build out this space. But like a ding dong, I forgot my tape measure again. First time was in Florida with the A-frame. I left it on my kitchen countertop. Ugh! So I bought another one. But then that one ended up sitting on the kitchen countertop at my friend's house. My ADHD brain works against me, I swear. Ooh, a bird. It's okay, because as a builder, you've got to be creative on the job site. And sometimes you have to measure things using, that's right, your feet. It actually really works. Measure your feet with your shoes on sometime, and you'll always have a measuring standard with you. Heel to toe, I'm just at about 11 inches, so I walk with about 1 inch gap between heel to toe, and that gives me a solid foot. So with me measuring out this space, I get a structure that's roughly 18 feet long, 10 feet wide, and 10 feet tall, for a total of 240 square feet, including the loft up above. With the measurements and quick sketch of the layout, I'm able to run estimates for the material cost. Lumber, we got 65 10-foot 2x4s for the walls, which is $698.75. And then we got 20 10-foot 2x8 floor joists at $388.40. Bringing the total estimated cost to build $24,717.50. This is the DIY price, but still not too bad of a sunk investment at all. And that's in today's prices. Knowing that they built this a few years ago before the construction industry spike, it's not unrealistic that they built this for less than $15,000. Calculating the profitability of a place like this isn't too difficult either. There's an easy way of doing it where plug and chug into a few sources and you get their short-term rental estimate of about $40,000. Then to double check that data, I head over to another site or another source and actually look at the historical. Sometimes the site has issues getting all the data from Airbnb and it gives us this error not available, but we have enough info to estimate that it makes between $35,000 and $40,000 a year. Then we want to also confirm the main home, which is around $60,000. Also, there's a Kai Andrew land hacker method that is much more precise at analyzing nightly and occupancy rate on top of guest trends and patterns. And if you're interested in joining the land hacker program where you can create multiple income streams from one property, head over to my website, set up a time to chat with me or someone on my team to see if it's a good fit for you. So estimating a build cost of roughly $20,000 for a return of $40,000 is essentially a 100% return each year. Now to put that in perspective, current multi-million-dollar apartment buildings are offering a whopping 3 to 5% return. Sarcasm. Now that the build price is assuming the owners built it out themselves, which is for sure what happened here, just based on looking at the build quality. But even if you hired this out, you're looking at a $50,000 to $60,000 build cost factoring in labor. It's essentially a glorified shed. Now, assuming a $50,000 build price, we're still looking at a payback period, how long to recoup your initial investment, of just 14 months. After that first year, it's all profit, baby. This leads into the second banger quality that elite properties use to exploit to make huge returns: using a unique color palette. Now, when people go on vacation, they want something different than their normal bland lives. Most of us are surrounded with off-whites, taupes, and other earth tones that use safe, standardized design choices. The spaces that I found that do the absolute best are the ones that go against the grain of typical. This is true for furniture, paint, and especially artwork. It's nutty how just changing the color of items can be the difference between $35,000, $40,000 a year versus $120,000 a year. Now, walking into the space, you're greeted with high ceilings and a quaint and cozy design. You can immediately see how this host tried to create the different look and design with the steel pipe ladder, bright yellow seats, and green cabinets. Solid B effort, but D+ execution, and I'll explain why here in a second. The kitchen is small but mighty, has everything you need including a full stove and oven. The living area is outfitted with a space-saving RV style table and booth seating area. And then there's the bathroom with a full-size bathtub. Now normally tiny homes only have room for standing showers, but the builder here decided to put in a full tub just in case someone wants to relax and have a full soak after hiking and exploring all day. Pretty good touch. And above all of this, you have a simple loft with a queen-size mattress, and you can still see the TV for you folks who like to watch movies in bed. All in all, a full experience in a bite-sized package. Now, the third banger amenity that you want in a high-income space is a view to remember. You always want some sort of wow factor. Whether it's treetops, ocean, river, mountain, or vast territory, Mother Nature, hands down, remains undefeated across all time when it comes to wowing our senses. Unfortunately, this listing doesn't have a view, but it's relatively quiet and privately tucked away in the back part of the property. Privacy always comes as a distant second to a view. But my beef with this property is not that the fact that it doesn't have a view. I'm not that snobby. Not that I think of anyways. It's the fact that this place is a stitched together DIY project built illegally and completely out of code, which means it's unsafe and very low build quality. The thing is, professional photography can cover that up pretty quickly with the right lighting, Photoshop, and then good filters. You also cannot smell or see the nitty gritty in most photos. Oh, Kai, you're just too tough and have such high standards. Sure. Probably, you're right. But listings like this hurts the entire Airbnb community because it causes cities to crack down on short-term rentals, and our guests come to expect low quality stays even at premium prices, forcing customers to choose professionally managed stays instead, like hotels. And now I already know a number of people in my circle who are not technically price sensitive who prefer hotels over Airbnb these days just because of experiences like this. I'm no different. If I can't find the right Airbnb, I will opt to stay at a hotel. What does this mean? This means that there are less paying guests for everyone else because they've been burned too many times paying $200, $300, $400, $500 in my case a night for a 2-star experience. All right, so what's wrong with this place that turned me off so much that I decided to not stay the night? There's too many to list, but the 3 key things are: 1, a very humid inside with mosquitoes. This is Austin, Texas with 98% humidity this time of year. There was a little window AC unit running, but humidity and that moldy, musky smell was still there. And after a while, I realized that the home had substantial air leaks, partially with how the AC was installed and the fact that a window was stuck open and would not close. The window itself actually had paper clips holding the blind open. Again, this is supposed to be an Airbnb Plus listing where you pay a premium price, which leads to number 2, sloppy build quality. Everything from broken trim, crooked cabinet doors and drawers, and a slanted floor from a sinking foundation shows the level of effort put into this small space. The bathroom has a noticeable slant, which is most likely the culprit to why the window up above in the loft would not close. And then third and lastly, unsafe and not very clean. Everything in the place reminded me of a very well-worn 1980s trailer crossed with a local highway diner. Just looking at the placement of unprotected electrical outlets at sink rim level shows that the building code was not a consideration. This is especially important in the case that you have an insurance claim or serious injury. Illegal activity or unpermitted structures will test your faith in your own insurance policy. But ultimately, the reason why I didn't stay was because the space was just not very comfortable with that one bench style seating, and I had a lot of work to do. And then also the fact that the stuck window being right by the bed, where a large broken metal fence literally 5 feet away from the window was swinging in the wind and banging against itself. This made it nearly impossible to sleep. The damages and worn supplies shows the level of care that the host put into this place. Not very high attention to detail. And that attention to detail leads us to the 4th and last of the banger amenities amenities that elite hosts use to generate six-figure listings. Amazing amenities guests cannot normally get. These are things that guests don't even know to ask or search about. But when they see the photos or arrive at the listing, they're blown away. A basic example is the all-encompassing popular fire pit. Not all fire pits are created equal. But other amenities that I'm referring to are like stargazing cargo net hammocks, 20-foot swings, arcades, geocaching and scavenger hunts, and bird watching kits, or a freaking candy room. All simple, inexpensive add-ons, but massive value adds to guests. Now, these are all things not done or used by 80 to 90% of listings on Airbnb. Why? Because it's easier to not do it, and thinking creatively is actually super difficult if you're not used to it. But ultimately, subpar listings like the place that I just booked and most hosts not executing on the 4 banger qualities is a great thing for people like us. Cities across the country, including the world, are cracking down on spaces just like this, and that opens up opportunities for principled hosts who want to create high quality spaces and experiences that draws more people to the platform rather than pushing them away. And you can also build a megaton amount of equity too, not even considering cash flows. I've generated as low as $75,000 and as high as $1 million plus in equity from a property just by creating the right type of property. If you want to learn more from me and how you can do this too, go to my website, kaiandrew.com, and set up a time to talk with either me or someone on my team about enrolling in my Land Hacker program, where I show you exactly how to do it. Now, go watch this video where I show you how $4,000 A-frames are making its owner $120,000 a year. I love you all.